Hey everyone, it's Laura here from makingcardswithsum.com, and it's time for another Saturday Sunday carding video. Today I'm starting out with some pattern paper from Heidi Swapp. This is from the signature paper pad from the Mink collection. This is some special pattern paper that you can use with foil. So the black pieces on this pattern paper is laser printed, so that means it can react with foil. I die cut a banner out of that pattern paper using the Stitched Banner Duo die cut set from Pretty Pink Posh, and I'm going to use some gold foil from Heidi Swapp to create a gold effect. So I am going to place that foil on top of the pattern paper, and then I am using a printer paper to protect my laminator. So here I am running the piece of pattern paper through my laminator. You could also use the Heidi Swapp Mink machine, but I'm just using a very cheap laminator that I have for years. So I'm just going to peel off that piece of foil, and then you will end up with this gorgeous and shiny pattern paper. I'm going to die cut a circle out of that banner using the W+9 circle stackers. And here I'm using some post-its to mask off an area since I'm going to be creating a sky using Distress ink. First I'm using Cracked Pistachio Distress ink. This is just a gorgeous mint color. And then I'm going to use the Tumbled Glass Distress ink. So I'm going to mix that together with the Cracked Pistachio. I absolutely adore the Unforgettable stamp set from W+9. I won't be using the elephants today, but I did use these little pieces of grass from that stamp set, and I'm going to use that with Green Hills ink from Hero Arts. Next I'm using the Just Hatched stamp set and die cut set from Mama Elephant. First I'm going to stamp the little owl using Lemon Yellow ink from Hero Arts. And then I'm going to stamp the two eggshells using bubblegum ink from Hero Arts as well. This stamp set has some coordinating die cuts, so I decided to use these since I will end up with a nice white edge around the images. So after positioning these images, I'm going to adhere them using foam adhesive, and I adhered the eggshells using some Tamomana multi-glue. Since I will be creating a sequin shaker, I am going to use some fun foam to add behind the banner for some extra dimension. I'm going to cut this to the right size, and I'm just going to use my scissors to cut a circle out of it. You could also use the die cut that I used earlier, but I think cutting it with scissors is just a little bit faster. Going to adhere some acetate behind that circle. And I'm using my Scotch ATG to adhere that. And then I'm adding another layer of adhesive so I can adhere the fun foam to that banner, as you can see. Now it's time for sentiment. I'm using the Bubble Talk stamp set from W+9 for this greeting. This greeting says I love you, and I'm going to stamp it using Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I also stamped a little heart from the same Bubble Talk stamp set from W+9. So now it's time for the most fun part of this cards, and I'm going to fill up my sequin shaker using some Pretty Pink Posh sequins. I will be linking to all of the colors that I used in the supply list below, or you can also visit my blog for a supply list. Here I'm adhering the other side of the banner using my ATG from Scotch again, and then I can just position that onto my card. And then you can start shaking your sequin shaker. Finally, I'm adhering some more Pretty Pink Posh sequins, and these just match with the sequins on the inside of this shaker. So that finishes up the card. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back next week. Bye!